haven't gone live, but we will in 28 seconds. There are people watching at home. For the people in the front row, they're right underneath your chair. And for everybody else, some of you know better than me, they are right in front. Welcome. We'll be starting shortly.
And we'll be starting with the Nigun, so you don't need any words for a Nigun.
That's why I say this in English too.
Ever been to a bar mitzvah? Just checking. Do you have any advice for Eli? Asking for a friend. Lifeline. Anyone out there? Okay. How about, what do you think the significance of a bar mitzvah is? I'll keep asking questions until somebody answers. What is going to be different from Eli from this day going forward, or after tomorrow? Yes, and please mention your name for the people at home. Sydney Bennett. It's turning over a new leaf of life. Right, it's a new stage. Good, and he's on a stage, so that's perfect. Anybody else? Is there something significant that's changing for him? What's going to be different? Raise your hand, otherwise I'll think it's God talking. Ellie.
He's now becoming in the eyes of Judaism a man.
A young man, but yes. For the folks at home, Ellie said he's now in the eyes of Judaism an adult member of the community. So do adults have any responsibility in the Jewish community? Anybody? Okay, what's an example of something that only adults can do? Is your name Dina? Oh, Dina? Yeah, go ahead.
They can be called to Torah, to read, and for
Okay, so for those at home that didn't hear Dina, our religious committee chair, they could count in a minyan, maybe she said, and read from the Torah. So Eli, well, he might have had wine before, but let me continue. Eli, this isn't a one-time event, right? So we may call you because we're short of members, and your folks and you and your sister will have to rush over to help us make a minyan. Does someone have a favorite? So that was the bar part, right? And bar means son. I'll repeat some of this tomorrow, so when I ask the same questions, you'll already know. Bar is not Hebrew, it's Aramaic. Aramaic is a language the Jews spoke in Israel after the temples were destroyed, when some of our holy books are written in the year 200. And bar in Hebrew is Ben. And so he's now a son of the Torah. So we've talked about what it means to be a son, a young man, but what about the mitzvah part? We've talked about being able to participate in services, and if someone needs to say Kaddish, a memorial prayer, he can count in the 10. But what is an example of a way of getting involved? Because clearly Judaism believes in action. So I'll have two people answer. What is someone's favorite action that you've done as a member of the Jewish community that might help Eli figure out what path he's going to take in terms of giving back?
Volunteering.
I hear a voice. Was there a hand? But volunteering how? No. Leslie's right. Our president's right. So it's volunteering. But is there a way of volunteering that people have found great meaning? Hang on. You've had your turn. Let's see if anyone who's a visitor. But then I'll come back to you because you're good. Nobody here has done anything in the world to volunteer to help others. You look like caring people. Not a laugh even. Laura, what have you done to help people in the Jewish community? Volunteering or a mitzvah, like visiting the sick, welcoming guests, helping folks that are not doing well overseas. Teaching? Okay. Good. Anyone else ever do anything nice for anybody else? That's what a mitzvah is. Clearly, you're feeling nervous. Peggy, we'll hear from two more.
I've worked for the city.
Say it again.
I worked for the city for 23 years, and I'm still working for them.
So Peggy said she works for the city, Peggy Rowan, and that's a way to give back, to work for the government, to help people.
Theater as well.
And the theater. And she's,
1991.
since 1991, Peggy Rowan has been giving back by working at the theater in town. Anybody? It's not an auction. You can move your hands. I won't call on you. Yes? Remind me of your name because I can't. Devorah? Yes, I got your badge. Devorah Lowenstein.
Crochet hats for chemo patients.
Say it again.
I crochet hats for chemo patients.
Great way to volunteer. And after this, we'll transition. Devorah said that she crochets hats for chemo patients. I'm going into this not to make you uncomfortable, but to help Eli learn that there are many ways of being an adult, a Jewish adult in the community. When I talked to him about how to allocate his cash and merchandise that he's going to acquire for his bar mitzvah, I said, don't give to a fund that your parents or relatives or I think is important. Think through what's important to you. Because at this age, and in the 5 years till college, he needs to forge his path, something that touches his heart. So I was just inquiring what has touched yours. We will continue the service now by asking our President Leslie to come forward for a few announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Leslie Berger, President of Temple Beth Ohr. Mazel tov to Eli on becoming a bar mitzvah and to his family. This evening is just the beginning, so it'll be a short practice run for you. Sorry. Brotherhood is having a special presentation on the history of football on August 12th. Please RSVP online. August 18th is the membership barbecue, so please also RSVP online. Sisterhood is selling gourmet candy apples for Rosh Hashanah, only for $10. Details will be in this Sunday's e-blast. We're still collecting school supplies for those in need until August 11th. Thank you to Rabbi Len and guest soloist Julie Nolte for assisting in the service tonight. You did a great job last week. Thank you to Dr. Ray for the music. Thanks to our tech team, Phil Carey, David Youngman, and Chris Jastrock, and Susan Carey for running the chat. Oh, we have no slides. Okay. Thanks to our ushers, Diana Brown and Barry Davis. And the emergency exits are... Can we have Shabbat greetings this week from Jeff and Wilma Shear, Rita and Bob Rubin, Ted and Noel Singer, and the McNella family. And the Rubin family is here tonight. Thank you very much. And anybody could support our temple for only $18 a week for Shabbat greetings. And also thank you to the Fenton Strauss family for sponsoring the flowers, live flowers in the sanctuary tonight. And also they're sponsoring the Onik tonight. It's a really yummy spread tonight. So, and a really big cake. So I hope you're hungry. Shabbat Shalom.
So we're going to just go have refreshments now. I think that'll take a load off Eli. Okay, no, we should do a few prayers. So Lechuna Ranana is the beginning of the service. It's called Kabbalat Shabbat, the way we were greeting folks at the door and relatives that hadn't seen each other in a while, greeted each other. we have to greet the Sabbath bride. So we can't just rush to the beginning of the service. So this is the prep. I ask you to please turn to page 12 for Lechu Nevranana.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, nekad mapana betoda. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, bizmiro narialo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai.
We continue now with Lecha Dodi that features the words Kala, which is bride, and Malka, which is queen. It is really hard to figure out what attitude to have towards this idea called Shabbat. So the rabbis of old said, when do we turn to the door and greet? At a wedding, the bride is, when she walks in, everyone in attendance turns. A queen is afforded respect because she represents the chief figure in the land. So the rabbis tried to help us put our hands around this idea by connecting us to those images of women that are afforded respect and love. Lecha Dodi, page 20, and it'll go on to 21. Please join in. And if you don't know the words, sorry, I nearly tripped you up. La la la's are good, or humming. Last comment for the last stanza. I will go like this. It didn't work at home when I was raising my kids. When they would have to get up from the table, they said, Dad, you can only do please rise at work. But this is work. So I ask you to please rise for the last stanza. And then, as I was mentioning, is done at weddings, all of us will turn, if you're able to rise, and face the door and symbolically greet the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi, page 20.
And if you want to follow along for the verses, we're doing verse 1, 2, 8, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibor echad hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad leshem u'tiferet ve'litila lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'mashavat techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin u'shmol tivrotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi. Al yadish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai yalalai yalalai. 'Cause 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 sohola tov emunei an segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala yanalai 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 bnei Shabbat bnei kabela lecha dodi likrat kala yanalai 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 bnei Shabbat bnei kabela.
You may be seated. One more welcoming song before the candles for Shabbat are lit. Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Say Temple Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It is now time to light the candles. Like when you light candles in your personal life, it's to change the mood or to perhaps add something that it touches other senses. Maybe it's a scented candle. There are many times in Jewish life when candles are used. We'll talk about that another time. What I'd like to do is to call forward. In a way, this is the beginning of what we'll do tomorrow, which when we pass the Torah is from generation to generation. So I want to call up Lila, his sister. Oh, so you have a name. Eli's sister. Katie, his mom, and his grandmothers, Nina Strauss and Diana Fenton. If everyone else could rise, they will come forward. Could you be that microphone holder?
We thank you, O God, for our family and friends and for what we mean and bring to one another. We are grateful for the bonds of loyalty and affection which sustain us, and for the capacity to love and to care. Help us to be modest in our demands of one another, but generous in our giving to each other. May we never measure how much love or encouragement we offer. May we never count the times we forgive. Rather, may we always be grateful that we have one another and that we are able to express our love in its acts of kindness. Keep us gentle in our speech. When we offer words of criticism, may they be chosen with care and spoken softly. May we waste no opportunity to speak words of sympathy, of appreciation, of praise. Bless our family and friends with health, happiness, and contentment. Above all, grant us the wisdom to build a joyous and peaceful home in which your spirit will always abide. Amen.
Amen. So we'll take the reading. All of you come forward. Diana has the page open. Wait. Before you say it, just take the separate candle and light them. The two candles. Okay, watch your hand.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you all. I'll take the mic. Thanks a lot. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
It is now time for a reading. Page 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot, and inspires us to kindle the light from Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give us light to all who behold them, so may we, by our life, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
We now turn, because we added a reading, so I just want to make sure it's clear to Eli where we are. We turn now to page 28, the Barhu, the call to worship. This is the beginning of the evening service. Everything else was just to help us make the transition. If you still have any ickies in your head from the week, now's the time to breathe in goodness, breathe out ickiness. I did when I was walking this week. I used my hands and push it away. The Barhu. We face the ark, page 28.
Ya Eli, Eli, Ya Eli, 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 Ya Eli, 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 Ya Eli, Eli, Ya Eli, Eli, Ya Eli,
You may be seated. We continue on page 30.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma peteah sha'arim u'tefi vuna mashaneh itim u'mahalif et hazmanim u'masader et hakochavim b'mish morei techem b'rakira kirtsono b'rei yom v'layla gulel or mipnei hoshet v'hopshet mipnei or Uma avir yom uvein uma mevi laila uma deal bain yom uvein laila Adonai Sabaoth Shemo El Chai Vikayam Tamid Imloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sails of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You You guide the current day into night, as heaven spanned to infinity. You set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Arivim.
Amen.
Our service continues on page 33.
Could you sit down? Page 32.
Sorry to correct you, Eli. We're actually going to be going to page 32 first for Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah mitzvot, chukim mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shofeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach behukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu be'orech yameinu, uvahem neged yomam v'layla.
We read responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love?
Then the holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please rise. Were you going to make that announcement? Sorry, go ahead.
Doesn't say here.
Please rise, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meyodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinamtam livanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha v'aretcha uv'lechtecha v'adere u'shofbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot ayadecha v'hayu letatafod bein einecha u'ftaftam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yatem kedoshim le'elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Etem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Our service continues on the top of page 39. We read responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we are taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot.
Together, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Page 40.
We continue on page 40.
Mi kamocha.
Yam ba ba bim bim bam, yam ba ba bim bam, yam ba ba bim bim bam, yam ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yam ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yam ba ba bim bam. Mi chamocha b'anim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar v'kodesh, norati.
Blessing in the middle of 40, I will add, Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Thus it said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Amen.
Our service continues on the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. That may we lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporesh sukkot, shalom aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael va'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Please rise for Vashamru, the top of page 44.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת,
It is now time to look inside your heart. When we were children and would go to a museum, there would be like a mechanical version of a heart beating up and down and up and down. But that's the physical heart. The spiritual heart is what is always with us, but we don't often access that aspect of who we are. The spiritual heart is that which we turn to give us some strength, to be a sail on a sailboat. I don't know all the terms, but the rigger, whatever it is, that you turn. I'll ask my friends who do sailing. But our spiritual heart gives us direction when we feel a little bit adrift. So we now have a prayer called, at the top of the page, it says Tefillah, which is a prayer. In some branches of Judaism, it's called the Amidah, the standing prayer. We don't stand for just any reflective reason during the week. So this is our opportunity to look inward, to think, and to let our hearts do good work and ponder what else we can do to help our hearts be quiet as we think about what's important to us. Page 46, Adonai Sfatai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'imotenu Avotenu Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanoram El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vizocher Hazdeya Avot V'imaot Umavi Gula Livnei Benechem Lemon Sho Ba'achava Melech Ozer Umashia Umageh Baruch atah Adonai Megin Avraham Vizrat Sarah Atagi bor leolam Adonai, Mahaye hakol atav rila oshia, Morid hatal mechachel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rovim, Somech noflim brofecholim, Umatir rasurim, Umakayem emunato lishenei afar Micha mocha bagivurot umido melach Melech memit umachaye umatmi Yeshua V'nehemana talehayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mahaye Hakol Atah Kadosh V'shimcha Kadosh Ukdoshim B'chol Yom Ha'halus Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue on the top of page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with the seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments with your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, whenever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we touched by God, we will reach out for holiness, and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe in this place, and we did not know it. Blessed the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Our service continues on the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat. We continue on page 57. Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael utafilatam ba'achava takabel utahi leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha Baruch atah Adonai shaotecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you and their courage, and find their courage, insight and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another. Let all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod.
Amen.
Our service continues on page 59. Let us read together. God of goodness, we thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulacha ne'eh lahadot.
Amen.
We continue on page 61. Lo yisa goy al goy harev v'lo yilmdu od milchama. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again know war. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn to the plowshares first.
Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam.
Pretend we're still on Zoom. Give her a round of applause. It's very beautiful. Thank you. And Eli, you're doing really well too. But it's my turn. It is now time to pause and reflect. In a moment, I'm going to give a talk about flour and water. So as you pause to think about flour and water, go to it. And when we return, I'm going to ask you about your favorite flour memories and your favorite water memories. Take a moment. I don't want this to go on too much longer because there's a great oneg, and we have to save some ability to sit for tomorrow. But before I talk about flour and water, I want to tell you my name. You may not know, Len Muroff, and this is the end of my 4th week as the rabbi of Temple Beth Ohr. The other thing I want to do is to welcome anybody that drove more than 10 minutes to get here. Who drove more than 10 minutes to get here? Who of those people is not a member of this synagogue? There we go. How about the people in the front row? Tell us your name and where you drove from, and if you actually live where you drove from. I know whose parents you are, but you can introduce yourselves and tell us maybe where.
I'm Michael Fenton, my wife Diana Fenton, we came from Saratoga Springs, New York, and we didn't drive all the way.
It's a long ride. Welcome. Happy to have you. For those at home that didn't hear, Eli's paternal grandparents introduced themselves. Yes, sir.
My name is Nolte, and I'm Eli's family friend, and so far I'm not already here.
Welcome. Anybody else? I know who you are, but tell us.
Lee and Susan Honeydew, we come from Torrance. There's Julie, our daughter. Yeah, and the bar mitzvah.
There we go. Julie's parents are here. Welcome. We're very grateful for all she did. As I said last week at Nathaniel's bar mitzvah, and welcome to Nathaniel. He and his father are back, which is what we want all the bar mitzvah families to do, is not to see it as a one-off. So welcome, thank you. Last week I said that it's important to, greet people and to make them feel welcome. So thank you for being here. Anybody else drive more than a minute or two? Yeah. It's a good thing. And the woman next to him, I know, next to you. You're going to get kicked under the table. You were just hit, so I wasn't far off. And what is your current wife's name? 53 years. They get a round of applause, too. There we go. Anybody else never been here before and would like to introduce themselves? Yes. Welcome. Oh, welcome. Are you related to the people sitting near you? There we go. Good to have cousins here. So I told you, welcome, everyone's welcome, and we all look forward, the regulars, to greeting the new people and eating together. So I did say that I was going to talk about water and flour. In a minute, I told Eli to look surprised when I give him the second challah ever given during my tenure to a bar mitzvah young man. But what do you think about when you think about flour and water? Do you have a favorite flour memory? What comes to mind? Dina.
My grandmother's cinnamon roll.
Okay. Dina said her grandmother's cinnamon challah or rugelach, or both. challah. My mother made cinnamon rugelach. Dina's mother, for those at home that can't hear, grandmother? Grandmother. And is your name Karen? I think I see you. Karen, what's your favorite flower memory?
Sweet peas, those were my mother's bird flowers, one of her flowers, and after the experiences that she went through in Europe, she said it reminded her of spring, the renewal, and the freedom that those flowers had to grow.
Beautiful. Flowers that can grow and flowers that turns into challah. Okay. Anybody else have a flower you can eat memory? No one here. Our country loves carbs. Somebody step up. Yes, please remind me of your name again. Sydney. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
My sister's side, while my parents were away, and it was a Saturday, we had to go to work. We tried to make a cake with water and flour, and put it in the cake pan, flour and water, put it in the oven at 2 degrees, whatever, took it out, and it was hard as a rock. We got the biggest thrill out of it. The inside was mushy compared to too much water, and the outside was hard as a rock, but we ate it anyway.
Last one. Yes, sir.
Walking through Yad Vashem, on the outside, there was all these columns that adjusted for the communities that Jews lived prior to the Holocaust. And in the middle of the stone, coming out of a crack, was a flower growing right out of the crack of the wall. It was memorable.
Eli's paternal grandfather, he's going to pretend I'm not looking to see his name, Michael, said that so it's interesting, right? Is that an antonym? Some of you that know all the grammatic terms. I said flowers, so some people have responded about flower, other people about the Hebrew is prachim, flowers that grow. So Michael said that when he and his family, or maybe his wife Diana, they were together in Israel at Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial, and in the midst of a lot of cement, a literal flower was growing to symbolize life continuing, which is all good. So flower can add life. Flower can help change the tone of your day. When I was a hospice rabbi, which I did for 15 years, I collected pictures of flowers, dogs, and beautiful sunsets. And I would print them out. And some people in hospice weren't getting out much. And then when I was at State Psych Hospital, I brought those pictures in of flowers or of the lake nearby. And they're not getting out for a while, if ever. So to see beauty from the world, it helped them have a little bit of hope. Hope, and the Jewish people, especially Israelis, where Yad Vashem is located, is intrinsic to our identity as Jews, and especially to Israelis. There were so many times during Jewish history when hope was just not seemingly attainable. So flowers can help us, and flower, my memory is of my bubby, my mother's mother, who would make cherry pie. And that is the flower that I recall. And my grandfather, my Zeta, who said he would wait till my grandmother was out of the room and he would take a little bit extra. But he said, don't tell Bubby because I have a little bit of sugar, which is his way of saying he had a little bit of diabetes. But it was great cherry pie. The flower that I had in mind is, I thought of it because there's a great quote. So here's a quote from Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 6. He used to say, anyone whose wisdom exceeds his good deeds, to what is he compared? Some of you may have heard this. It's a well-known quote. To a tree whose branches are many, but whose roots are few. So if you have a lot of wisdom, but you don't do many good deeds, you're like a tree that could fall over because as it continues, then the winds come and uproots it and turns it upside down. As it is said, and he shall be like a lonely juniper tree in the wasteland, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places of the wilderness. He was a dark fellow. A salt-filled land which is uninhabitable. But one whose deeds exceed one's wisdom, what is that person like? like a tree whose branches are few, but whose roots are many. Even if all the winds of the whole world were to come and blow upon it, they would not move from its place. He shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and shall not perceive when the heat comes, but its leaf shall remain fresh, and it will not be troubled in the year of drought, nor will it cease to bear fruit. Funny thing, I found a quote about acting in a holy manner out in the community. That's really what a bar mitzvah is about, and that's what it means as those of us who aren't having our bar mitzvah today, which is everybody else, that we are working our way. There are 6 weeks until Rosh Hashanah, and I know it's hard for the leadership to hear that and myself, but it means that we have to prepare. If anybody is a sports fan or if you like opera, musicals, you don't just go on the stage or go on the field. And similarly, you can't just walk into the sanctuary at Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We've all done it forever, but the goal is to really do some thinking. I want to say one little thing about water, because it's important how you walk in the world, and then we'll be done. It's important to focus on modesty and humility. The one who walks that way followed their mentor when they formulated the concept of mosif veholech, adding and going, so that a spark of holiness feeds upon itself and makes ripples like a pebble thrown on the surface of water. So holiness is key. The more you do, the more the impact you have. I want to close by saying, Eli, that the good deeds you're going to do, because you have a good heart and soul, you may never know the positive outcome. Like a mentor teacher of mine said in grad school, you may never know the lives that you touch, but it doesn't mean you don't act in a way that will help you touch lives. So I encourage you and all of us and the people, especially the people that are mentors of yours and family, to continue modeling the good deeds, because this is not an end, it's a beginning. Like a graduation, when they say a commencement, all of us were just getting together to refocus on what's important. We now turn to the Misha Berach, the holy prayer for healing. I have a list in the back of the people who this community is praying for. I asked the individuals who are online to put their names in the chat. At present, I don't have access to it, but still, that's a way when you put the name in for others to take note of the people in your lives who need healing. I will read the names I have. For those people present, I will give you an opportunity by moving my hand, I'll sort of section by section, and then front to back. If there's someone for whom you're praying, please do so when my hands move in your direction. We continue with Misha Berach.
Sararif kalaya verachem
At this time, I'm going to read the names, as I was saying, people whose names I've received. I will encourage you, whether you're a member of the synagogue or not, if you have people that are really in need of prayer, perhaps it's a long-standing illness, maybe a terminal illness, sadly, you're welcome to email the synagogue, or my email address is Rabbi Muroff, 1R, 2Fs, at tbolm.org, and we're happy to pray on your loved one's behalf every week until you ask us to stop doing that. But it's often helpful to people. I've received a couple emails already asking for parents to be added. At this time, we pray for the recovery and for comfort for the following people: Joseph Glazer, Marcia Mayton, Peggy Horowitz, Sergio Sanchez Guzman, who's here, but we're still praying for you. One of my Talmud professors is dealing with a tough disease, Harav Eliezer Ben Sion Ben Chaya Golda, Rabbi Eliezer Diamond, Linda and Ken Seelander, spoke to her this week. They're turning in the right direction. Nikki Freeman, Lori Wiesel, and Jesse Schneider Glazer. Is there anybody in the room who has a name to add, starting up here? No. This section? Thank you. In this section, front to back? Second row, anybody? Oh, thank you. Third, fourth, fifth? Thank you. Thank you. In the middle, anybody? Nope. Good. Everybody's healthy. Yes, go ahead. Thank you. Barry Davis. Thank you. Laura. Thank you. Any of the visitors from Florida? Thank you. In the back? I think we mentioned your relative, Greg. Anybody else? Okay. This whole section, Julie's parents.
My father, Edward Cunningham, my mother-in-law, Irina Brock, and my cousin, Jonathan Day.
Thank you. Karen, say it again. Laura Block. Thank you. And we also pray for the people that don't have individuals to pray for them. We don't know who they are, but we know there's a lot of pain and hurt in the world. I also want to add on a personal note, I couldn't find the names, but there was a bombing in Ma'aleh Adumim. It's officially called what do they call it? Anyway, it's over the Green Line in Israel, but it's really a suburb. The way in LA, if you live in Studio City and you grow up in Fairfax, my niece, my oldest niece, she's fine, and her husband is fine, and my three great nephews and one great niece, they're fine. But in the downtown of Ma'aleh, called the settlement, Ma'aleh Adumim, there was some shooting this week, and we happened to be texting that day. I said, "How are you?" She goes, "Not so good, Uncle Len. There was a shooting downtown where I am all the time." So 6 people were hurt, one of those very severely. And as I said to someone afterwards, I called my partner Judy, I said, it's like in the Lebanon War when a classmate's boyfriend was killed, then it became real. Because I'd already been to many cemeteries in Israel, and it's just so sad, there's so many, but it didn't mean anything until one. And now that it could have been my niece, who would have been shot. So we pray for all of them who are dealing with the emotional aftermath and also physically. We now continue. On my schedule says the August Simchas, but I only have the names for the Kaddish. So I'm not complaining, I'm just saying I'll take full responsibility. I don't have the names of the birthdays, anniversaries, Simchas. So don't throw things at me, don't shake your head or roll your eyes. We are going to ask if there's anyone here who would like to add any names. Anybody celebrating a birthday within the whole month of August? Starting here. It was Julie's birthday, was that Wednesday?
Yeah. August 2nd was my birthday.
August 2nd.
It's also my
that
anniversary
would be Tuesday.
month. So August 28th was my
Happy anniversary to
Thank
Julie
you.
and Brian.
Thank you.
How many years now?
Goodness, 2011, so it's 12 years. It's 12 years.
Seems like yesterday. Anybody here have a birthday anniversary? Anything super special? Anybody's team headed towards the playoffs in baseball? Make a good trade at the deadline? Dina? The 12th is your birthday? Great. Thank you. Happy birthday. We're about to sing happy birthday. I'm just putting you on notice. Anybody in the back? Anything special? Yes, Julie's parents.
Our anniversary, August 1st.
August 1st, happy anniversary. It seems like it's more than 12 years. How many years for you? 41 years. That's like a whole big hand wave. We wish beautiful things for all of you, and we're going to sing happy birthday. I have no idea what key it is, so we're going to let Julie sing.
We'll also do Shechianu too.
That was next on the list.
Okay, sorry. So happy birthday and then Shechianu.
Happy birthday, and then Shehechianu, which is on 344.
All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Dina and
people,
Julie.
including Julie. Happy birthday to you. Shehechianu, you may not know or recognize, but in the middle of the word is chai, life. That's an important thing. In Fiddler, you saw the person at where I think they were at a pub say, to life, l'chaim. This word, shehechianu, we should have a sing-along of Fiddler music. Shehechianu is saying out loud that we're so glad we made it to this day. Nothing in this room is more important than birthdays, anniversaries, and today, Eli's bar mitzvah. So shehechianu, which we said when we graduated college, is always appropriate. We say it at the Passover Seder and other special moments. We're here because we believe in Jewish ritual to mark time. So shehechianu, 344.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Thank you for having a bar mitzvah, Eli, so we can share that prayer with everybody because it's important to mark the good things. Page 282 is Aleinu. Please rise in any way you're able. That's fine.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, lateit gerula leotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vekoradeinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר
287.
והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please remain standing. In a moment, we will recite the Kaddish on 294. It is the custom in our congregation, if you're able to stand, to remain in partnership with the people who are here, recalling the loved ones who died. So I will recite the names of the people under Shiva and Kaddish. I know that there are at least two of us who are here for a particular yard site, so when I get to that section, I'll ask you to identify those people first, and then I'll do my best to skip over the names. But I know if you're here, it means they touched your hearts. At this time, we recall the individuals for whom it's still the 30 days since they passed away, our dear members Harley Rockoff and also Lily Kramer, whose sister Peggy Roman is here. We offer support to all of them, and may their memories be a blessing. The following individuals are within the Kaddish of the Year section of the Jewish mourning practice: Arthur Krieger, Maria Paulus Osborne, Ellen Hope Tews, Martin Becker, Nahama Fragoso, Allegra Gordon, Cyrus Chady, May Salinger, Sally Kravets, Myron Crystal, Molly Abraham, Phyllis Royce, Barbara Milton, Sandy Zwern, David Blockstein, Robbie Bush, Rita Manning, and Jack Pivo. Who here has someone they're recalling with Yahrzeit? A little birdie told me there are more than two. Yes, please tell us who it is. Oh, I'm so sorry. So she said Sandy Block and your mother? Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a loved one here? Yes, I'm sorry, please. Thank you. Leslie said her uncle, Krylov, was the last name, Bernie Krylov. Anybody else in this section have a loved one? Yes, sir.
My mother, Elsa Strauss.
Thank you, Elsa Strauss. Anyone else? David, it's listed that your father's Yahrzeit? And if not, we're still thinking of him. You have to listen to Karen. She has it right. It is here. We're going to worry about it later. And my uncle, Morton Pleat, is the last one listed. He also died 4 years ago in 2019. So for the following people, and I may repeat it, the Yahrzeit, which means they died at this season in years gone by: Rose Wallace, Bernie Krylov, Norman Weisel, C.C. Miller, William Leong, Vicki Emery, Jane Andrews, Harry Berman, David Klepak, Kopi Ford, Gertrude Starker, Jacob Travis, Louis Green, Sandy Block, Samuel Markovich, Ann Robinson, Milton Green, Jenny Diamond, Dorothy Altman, Susan Arlian, Abraham Lewis Diamond, Samuel A. Levinson, Bessie Luff, Nathan Youngman, Robert Meisler, and Morton Pleat. We hope the memories you have of these individuals continue to bring comfort for you, and may their memories be for a blessing. 294, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chaye chon v'yomei chon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kari v'imru. Amen. Maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitboar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudasha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiram v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Aseh shalom b'imromav u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Everybody put up your hand. That's a hint to you as to what page the next thing is on. Page 5. It is the Kiddush. Wait, we have props for this. Here, I'll give you the fancier cup, Eli. And I'll give you a high five. You did great. Okay, there you go. And Julie, there's one for you. It's right there. It's under the stand. So Eli, step away. There you go. Page 5. Are you saying the blessing? That's awesome.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pori hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichana b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'achava uvratzon hinel lanu zikron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tzilat Mitzrayim
Kivanu v'charta, Yotanu kidashta, B'kol hamim, B'shabbat kodshecha, B'yahava u'ratzon, Hinchaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Makahadesh Hashabbat.
L'chaim. He didn't make a face, so I bet it's grape juice. Was it grape juice?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I got grape juice and I'm not a minor. Okay, so we often have a small piece of bread in a Ziploc, but like with Nathaniel, I'm giving Eli a whole challah, and it'll be up to him whether he shares. So so after the motzi, which we're gonna say,
Amotzi lachem min haaretz.
we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy as our prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. So just whatever you touch, you have to eat. Okay, there you go.
You guys can split this.
Are you open to sharing?
Yeah, you guys can split
Okay, so then I'm gonna give it to Jody, who's gonna cut it up for everybody. We worked that out in advance, so you answered correctly. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope some of you will be back tomorrow, especially the people in the front row. Eli would love for all of you to be here. Thank you to everyone who traveled from across the country or from Berea. It is really wonderful to be together. Judaism is an entity, is a religion that's supposed to be lived in partnership. And Julie, thank you for getting Eli across the finish line in terms of being Mora Julie, as he kindly referred to you as, and being our soloist. It was beautiful. You take your work very seriously. Page 321, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'heit Nasa B'erev Shabbat Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kiflot HaKol Levado Imlov Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Oveh V'hu Yeh B'tivara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chefsa Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kiflot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Oveh V'hu Yeh B'tivara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chefsa Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kiflot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Oveh V'tivara V'hu Haya V'hu Oveh V'tivara V'hu Echad V'ein Sheni L'hamshilo Le'achbira B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit V'lo Haoz V'hamisra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali B'tzor Chavli B'tzara V'hu Nisi U'manosli Menat Kosi V'yom HaKra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et
בטרם כל יציר נברא לי, נעשה בחסד כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
ואחרי
ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא
היה והוא הווה בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה. בידו הפקיד רוחי תישן בעירה, בהים רוחי גוויעתי. אדוני לי ולא יירא.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסד כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא. הרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסד כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
See you in the
shalom.
morning. Shabbat shalom. You did great. All right, go enjoy your family.